This video is sponsored by my favorite website creator, Squarespace, the best place to go when you want to get a domain or create a gorgeous website or an online store. Be honest, do you make any of these mistakes? Here are the top 5 interior design mistakes almost everyone makes, at least if you ask me. This is totally my own personal opinion, but if you want a bright, light, cozy, airy, tidy looking space, hear me out. Most people seem to be under the impression that a mirror's only job is to show us how we look. So we place our mirrors solely in the spaces where we might want to check out our outfit or hair. The bathroom, the bedroom, by the door in the hallway. What a missed opportunity. Mirrors are so much cleverer than that. In fact, they have 2 other major jobs. First of all, to make your space seem bigger. Placing a big mirror on a wall will make it seem like a sort of window into another room, and our eyes can continue for longer before hitting a dead stop. This makes all the difference, especially for small rooms. It gets rid of that claustrophobic feeling and makes us feel less cramped. Second of all, mirrors are excellent light balancers. Most rooms only have windows on one wall, making the opposite corners feel cave-like and dark. If you place a mirror in all your darkest corners, the light from the opposite windows will be reflected and create a balance of light. It really makes such a huge difference to brighten up dark rooms, especially giving your dingy, murky corner a much needed glittering glam up. I've rented so many furnished flats and Airbnbs and vacation homes by now, and I'm always so confused why so many of them have been furnished against the walls. Sofas pushed up, lining the living room walls, with the table on the side of the sofa, also against the wall for some reason. Coffee tables, even dining tables, pushed up as close to the walls as possible. Armchairs cramped in corners. Even big rooms with lots of space often have this setup, leaving a large, empty, unused space on the middle of the floor. Moving most furniture away from the walls, even if it's just an inch or two, will immediately up the luxury factor. It looks breezier, more thought through, and more inviting if you leave some space between the sofa back and the walls. And whatever you do, don't push tables up against walls. In what way could that ever be inviting? Tables are happiest in the middle of the room, not attached to anything. By the way, if you'd like me to do more interior design videos, do give me a thumbs up. It actually helps me a lot. And if you're new to my channel, go click the subscribe, why don't you? Overfilled spaces is another mistake I think most people make. But again, this is all down to personal taste, of course. But I feel that we often fill spaces automatically because we somehow have the idea that if there's a space, we need to put something in it for the room to not feel sterile. I couldn't disagree more. Overfilled spaces create overbearing, overwhelming, stressful rooms, in my opinion. Also, in overfilled spaces, things get lost in the aesthetic clutter. Say that you have a bookshelf. Why do you need to fill every single shelf? I think that our favorite things, our most gorgeous books and artwork and decor pieces, can only be truly appreciated if it's surrounded by some negative space, which basically means empty space. Our most beautiful things deserve a place in the spotlight, uncluttered by competing things. I mean, look at art galleries. It's not like they hang the artwork in clusters overshadowing each other. We shouldn't be afraid of negative space. We should use it to highlight our most favorite things. Okay, here we go again. My crusade against ceiling lights. Nothing kills the mood as much as harsh, overly bright, shadow-casting overhead lights. I get instant adrenaline heart flutters in rooms like this. Even in offices, it kills the mood and the creativity, if you ask me. Instead, a number of small lamps in different spots in the room create soft, mellow shadows and a cozy vibe. In Sweden, we say every room needs at least 7 small light sources. Table lamps, candles, floor lamps, that's the way to do it, scandi style. Sitting down in a dark room and experimenting with moving lights here and there will show you what's the best light setup. I think we should all do this more, pay attention to our space and see what makes us calmer and what stresses us out. React to the room you're in and you will notice what works for you. Interior design is about beauty, sure, but it's just as much about practicality. So many Airbnbs or furnished flats I've been in don't think about the lounge area as, well, a lounge area. Because what is that space meant for if not lounging? And lounging means reading or watching a film or hanging out with friends. And what do you do when lounging? You eat and drink. You have a stack of magazines to flip through, you charge your phone or laptop. Basically, this area needs a big enough table or 2 or 3 small tables that can fit food, drinks, a laptop, some books, and all those things need to be within arm's reach. You don't want to sit up and lean forward every time you want a sip of tea. Still, most places seem either to have just a tiny table or a table way out of reach, or the horror, no table at all. No outlet for chargers, no floor lamp for reading light, basically completely neglecting the behaviors we humans have in a space meant for relaxing. I feel like we often do this. We furnish and decorate a place without a thought about our own movements and behaviors and needs in that space. Here's an example of an affordable and super practical solution that doesn't ruin the aesthetics of a room. David and I have these different trays that we use as temporary side tables. Whenever I'm on the sofa, I'll have one of these trays right next to me with a pot of tea and maybe a little snack, always within arm's reach, without having to move my body 1 centimeter in any direction. I mean, who has the energy, right? There are tons of tiny solutions like this we can think of the more we pay attention to our own behavior at home. I'm sure you have some examples as well. Come on, share with the group. Also, I'm very curious to hear if you agree with me on these mistakes or not. Let's discuss in the comments. Give me a little like if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, so that I will see you next week all ready. Do you want to create a beautiful site, maybe start your own interior design blog? If so, you should definitely do it with Squarespace. They have great blogging tools to share your stories, photos and videos to make it easy to reach your audience. You can also auto-post your content to Twitter, Facebook or Tumblr. And simply schedule your posts for them to be properly tagged and the descriptions and titles will show up correctly. You can of course add your social media accounts to your site so that it's easy for your readers to find you everywhere. Squarespace also have great traffic analytics so that you can see how many people are visiting your site, how long they're staying for, where they're coming from and what they're interested in, like interior design, architecture, or maybe fashion, for example. So what are you waiting for? Go get your free trial today at squarespace.com, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/jennymustard to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Thanks a lot for watching today, you guys. See you next week. Puss puss and hey do! Do you think you would have been happy in the go with the flow, do what's expected, mainstream type of lifestyle?
Yeah, I probably would.
So if you haven't met me, you would have been less stressed out and more happy?
Probably.
Yeah.
Not more happy, of course not.
But less stressed out.
Less stressed.